Nyt tosi hiljaa. Ja nyt yritän sitten keskustella tämän kautta. Well, oikeesti puolisollista. Joo, mutta siinä aluksi, mutta tuleeko sitä enää, jos nyt tälle juttelee. Mitä kuuluu? Onko se EU tilanteen tai? No. En minä tiedä. Mutta siis toisessa päivänä täysin. Okei, hyvä. Se on alku. Pysähdyksä hirveästikin? No siis mahtavaa profiililla. Se oikeasti ehkä vaikuttaa siihen mukaan. Täälläkin kun mä käytän toisesta käytän profiilissa, mikä on mun läppäristä, ja sitten mä käytän kuvaa tuosta mun kaverin läppärissä. Jos se nyt toimii. Mun pitäisi saada se jotenkin selkeäksi. Että se jos mä puhun tosi hitaasti, et saa yhtään mitään selvää. Vai kameralaatu vai ääni. Okei, mä pistin sitä yhden alemmas, mutta älä pistähän täysin sitä julkaisua, niin toimii se sitten jotenkin. Et kuva vaan tökkii. Ääni ei olekaan. Mä pistin sen yhden alemmas, sit sen jälkeen tulee pelkästään pikselit myös, että mä voin sen enempää kyllä. Mutta onko kuvaaminen siis ääni ok? Jos ääni on ok, niin sitten kaikki on hyvin. Oliko se pahasti? Pitäisi nyt tehdä äänellekin. Ja onko siinä mitään, mitä voisin korjata äänenlaatuun? Hello, kuulette mitään? Tai siis varmaan kuulette, mutta onko se ok? Mulla näyttää ainakin vain yhtä palkkia äänellisesti. Hey, for those who have this link already open and you're hearing me speaking some completely random language, I am still working on the sound difficulties that you might hear. And yeah, I'm so sorry about this. So let me try to fix this. Um, yeah. Um, so let me just scratch my nose. Um, so we're 5 minutes in, and I'm technically kind of late. So um, I'm sure you expected a super dynamic show, but please patience, because I'm really bad with technology. Um, Already lost a fellow, which is fair enough considering if this is completely lacking quality, then I do not judge whatsoever. I've been doing this sound check slash video check for the past hour, and I thought, hey, an hour is gonna be enough. What can go wrong? And I was so wrong. So many things can go absolutely horribly. I guess. I'm trying to work with two laptops here, and yeah, I I am talking. Can you try? Maybe. This is so weird. I'm seeing 2 feet, so I don't. No, cancel. I don't want to print anything. I posted the link now on the Facebook event, seeing if seeing if I get anyone else to watch as well, and I'll start blabbering if I get like, I don't know, 5 viewers or something. I don't, I'm aiming high. I have tech support constantly with a friend here, which is good. I'm happy about that. Ooh, shh, not talk. Stop with the pop-ups. Okay. Yeah. Wait. So. Okay, my friend just said that apparently if you open the link in Google Plus instead of YouTube, it's working fine-ish, which I'm really happy about. That it's working somewhere, at least, considering this is going to be a full-on monologue on sexuality and stuff, and I might blabber really weirdly, so that's good. Keep going. Okay, so I don't. Let me share this on my Facebook page as well. Get more people so I can be more nervous and be more awkward. Um, I don't know how this will work out. So basically, I am going to talk about bisexuality and stereotypes and problems bisexuals face. And I guess in general LGBT things, considering that I'm the only one talking, so gonna improvise full on. Um, I should not have silent moments when it comes to, like, I guess hosting. It should be just continuous talk amongst talking. But I see I'm having one viewer, which I'm often happy about. But I'm gonna still give it a few minutes until I'm gonna start talking about anything important, so nobody misses out. Because I did just I'm sorry, I'm messaging my tech girl who's gonna tell me if there's something wrong with the conversation, so I know how to slow down if necessary. But yeah, I don't want to start yet, so I don't have to repeat myself or anyone will miss out. And I just posted a link on the event, which, I mean, considering I posted it at like 1 minute past, I think that's pretty good. probably should have done it before, honestly. But I really didn't think it would take me an hour to figure sound out. I thought that would be pretty simple. I'm working with 2 laptops. If someone who just joined in, I don't know if that's possible, but if you just joined in, um, I'm working with 2 laptops. The other one is giving me the sound, which is my laptop. But my laptop's camera doesn't work. So I have my friend's laptop for the camera. Because why should it be simple? Why? So, yeah. So, yeah. Okay. How am I gonna work this out? So I'm gonna introduce myself. Just frickin', I'm gonna go for it. My name is Rosa, and I am We Are's PRO. And this was an idea I had of having just kind of a chill hangout, talking about LGBT issues, talking with people, answering questions. And yeah, I should learn technology better as well, I guess. And this is my this is my debut on Hangout in general. Like I've never done this before. Neither have I ever had a monologue, not knowing if anyone's actually watching this. But it's okay. I don't mind. It's for an important cause. It's Idaho Week, or IDAHOT, IDAHOT, hoot. Hot is fine. IDAHOT Week, and we're celebrating, LGBT things, and I have a flag. I decorated the place for this, which I'm really happy about, you know. Um, so yeah, and we have this idea of hangouts, just kind of chill and talk with people. Unfortunately, because it's exam season and it's spring and everyone's really busy, I had panelists, but they had other things to do, which is completely understandable. And so yeah, I was really appreciated that they at least offered to join, which is really great. I mean, considering it's a bit awkward that I'm alone, but but that's my planning, and I guess next time I should plan this better, kind of. Um, so yeah, you're gonna be stuck with me if if you can bear to listen to my voice more than a minute. I hope I don't sound completely annoying. Um, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how can I see who's here. So I would kind of know um, if people are viewing this, so I can, because it's telling me there's one viewer, and how do I know? How do I know this? How can I? Is that possible? Okay, I'm doing something. Okay, you can only turn this feature on and off. Oh no, please don't make me. Oh no. Oh no. I should really have a channel. If for some reason I fail horribly and I cannot see a chat somewhere where you can ask me questions, just post on our Facebook page. Um, and I will answer through there. This is some really technically like disabled action right now, but I'm trying. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna start, you know. So my first topic was in general just to introduce the idea of bisexuality and what it means and kind of maybe personal stories, but since it's me, I'm gonna tell my story, I guess. And yeah, so bisexuality is attraction to both genders. that's basically really it. Really short. I did get some quotes of how other people have described it. One was someone who's capable of feeling romantic, spiritual, or and sexual attraction to two genders. Note that two genders are specified here, being as many people are aware that there are more than two genders in this world. Two, a quote that I got was a person who loves despite gender. Three was one who loves individuals first and genders second. I really like that one. And fourth was an individual open to sexual or emotional exploration of two genders. I think it's pretty clear. I personally, my story of realizing I'm bisexual was that sorry, I'm trying to like answer questions. Okay, so my personal story, I think when I realized I was bisexual was I never was capable of separating both genders on different levels as I guess a straight or a full-on queer person. Queer, that's a horrible thing to say, but you get my point, I hope. Has where, you know, you just know you have platonic love towards the other gender, and when I was young, I was always attracted to both genders. Like, I had crushes on both, and I was really confused because I was waiting for that, like, bigger than life emotion towards one gender and going like, you know, I love this person, you know, romantically, and that never happened. And I was confused because in, you know, sex ed classes, you hear about, you know, how to make love and, you know, organs and like sexuality, but sexuality is barely mentioned. It's usually just like mentioned as, you know, a person can be also lesbian or gay. And that's about it. I've never heard of bisexuality before I was 12. I never knew that was a possibility. And I always thought that I have to choose at some point. And when I was 12, hitting, you know, puberty and teenagehood, I started really freaking out, and I was like, I need to choose soon. Like, how am I supposed to know if I can't see this difference? And wait, I have to open apparently a window that I'm ignoring. I'm so sorry. Okay, I can see comments now. I can do this. Okay, so I never realized that, you know, one doesn't have to choose, and I think I was a kid who, at the age of 12, 13, hung out on this website, which was kind of equivalent to MySpace, but it was called Vampire Freaks. Don't ask. Just, that's where I was. It was kind of like my other MySpace. It was more like emo goth kids, rock kids, and yeah, I'm just openly admitting all the embarrassing things in my life. I was there, and a lot of people were like posting what their sexuality was, you know, like, I'm 20 of this and this, and I saw a lot of bis, and I was like, what is this? Like, I don't, you know, I've heard of gay and lesbian, but I don't, you know, and I googled it, and then it just kind of clicked for me. I was like, oh, I don't have to choose. That's great. I can have the best of both worlds. I'm joking, like that's not how it works. I'm going to talk about that later. But I was really excited. Like, I figured myself out. Like, I have a term for it. I always knew this was kind of what I was, but now I knew it's like normal and okay. And it's kind of sad considering this is me realizing only at like already at the age, only at the age of 12, 13, instead of like since I was a kid knowing, you know, that was normal. I grew up with a lot of hetero people, so I always, you know, had more crushes on boys in a sense because I, you know, thought that's how it's supposed to go. You know, like when you're in primary school and you're like, hey, you're kind of cute, want to hang out, and then you break up the day after. That was always with boys. Yeah. So when I was 12, 13, I lived in Spain because my dad was working there, and I will never forget the first time I mentioned to my mom that I'm bisexual. I was actually having a bath, and I think my mom was bringing some, like, I don't know, toilet paper or something into the bathroom, and I was just, like, laying there in the bathtub with, like, bubbles, like, in my face, tasting the soap, and I just looked at my mom, and I was silent, and I was like, Mom, I think I'm bi. You know, I didn't really know how to address it. I was really excited, but at the same time, I thought that, you know, oh God, like, I've never talked about these things to my parents, so how the hell am I going to know how they react? And my mom just looked at me silently and just went like, don't be. And that was the first knockout at it. I was like, it's not really an on and off switch, you know? I don't think that's how it works. Which is also a general misconception with bisexuals. You think you can just like suppress the gay side of you. Gonna talk about that later too, but that's not how it works. And I never really talked about it with my mom again. Maybe sometimes we'd sit on the couch and it had obviously been bothering my mom, and she'd be like, could you ever kiss a girl? And I'm like, oh, bless you, Mom. Like, yeah, I could kiss a girl, and I could like it, you know? And my mom would be like, oh, okay. I've never talked about this with my dad, by the way, ever. And it's not something I find necessary. I don't find the whole coming out of the closet thing necessary. I think that's a really awkward trend to have, adding more pressure to LGBT kids to come out. Like, if you're comfortable with yourself, and you know, obviously if you really feel like you need to tell someone, tell, but it's not something that you have to do, and you shouldn't let anyone else pressure you to do it. So that's why I haven't really talked to my parents, because I know they love me, and if I end up marrying a girl one day, I know they'll be at my wedding, and that's basically all that matters. And I know that some people don't even have that security to themselves, but it does come with age, because when you're 15, there's going to be also like other issues, and they're going to think it's a phase regardless of your sexuality. Maybe if your parents are a bit more conservative, so just take your time at it. It's fine. You don't need to immediately, as soon as you put a term of who you are, you don't have to immediately go like, you know, go at it and tell everyone, tell to the world. Like, I mean, if I see a straight couple and they want to keep their, like, you know, relationship life, you know, secret, nobody actually reacts to that. They don't care. They're like, okay, you know, you want to keep it private. Maybe some people want to gossip, but I've noticed that as soon as an LGBT person kind of says like, I don't want to talk about it, even though a lot of people mean well, going like, oh, you're suppressing yourself, you should, like, you don't have to live in a lie, it's overreacting. And these people might not have even thought about it, but now they're like, oh, now, whoa, actually maybe I am, and then they get really pressured, and it's like a vicious cycle. So I just kind of lost my train of thought for a second, but yeah. And you know, so you should never really feel too pressured about it. And so I never did. I mean, to be fair, a lot of people know, especially my friends know I'm bisexual. I think the most nervous I ever was telling my best friend, because me and her are really, really close, like really close. And I felt that she might be a bit shy afterwards, you know, considering I look at her like a piece of meat or something. But that never happened, luckily. But yeah, just be you. Cliche sentence. Wow. So yeah, that's kind of my story of bisexuality, how I kind of came to realize that's who I am, and you know, how I told my parents or mom and my friends. My friends just kind of went by. I'm pretty, as you can see, I'm sitting here on my own, and I'm still talking, no problem. So you can see I'm a pretty talkative person. So you can just imagine that I have no problem telling people like, oh yeah, I'm bi, you know, out of the blue. Let me see if there's any comments that I'm missing right now. Sorry. See, I see nothing here. Where is it? Notifications. Yay, awesome. I'm seeing people are watching this. I'm not really sure how to get to this, but I am gonna figure it out somehow. Let me open the link. But yeah, if you want to share any of your stories in any way, just write on our event or on the hangout wall. I'll check it out and I can read it out for you if you want. And so it's not just my point of view. Okay, so I have comments here. It's the first time, and I think the concept. Oh, okay. Story time. Yes, I talk a lot. Sorry. Okay. Now I got more giddy, guys. Thanks for watching. You're making me feel really good about this. So moving on, the second thing I really want to talk about is breaking the stereotypes. And I checked kind of and asked around about myths of bisexuality, and I am going to talk about them and debunk them, maybe a bit laugh at them. I know they're not always like bad, like they don't mean any bad by it, but some of them are kind of funny. And yeah, I'm going to go with the first one, which is, well, it's going to be depressing immediately. Myth 1. There's no such thing as bisexual. You're either gay, lesbian, or straight, no in between. This is one of the biggest problems bisexual people face. I am getting messages. Okay. About this. Somebody told me that they never even thought about coming out of the closet because they don't see that concept, which I think is great. That's better. But yeah, the first myth, no such thing as bisexual. This is one of the biggest problems I find to be, because it's not an issue we have to tackle with hetero people, it's also with the LGBT community, and the whole doubt, like, sure, you're bisexual. You're gonna end up choosing one either way. It doesn't work like that, though. It's hard to explain, obviously, how or why you're bisexual. You just are. Then again, you know if you're straight, you know if you're gay, it's the same thing, I guess, because both of them have this like complete ability to have a platonic feeling towards one gender. It sounds weird that you could have with both, but it's not a phase. It exists, obviously. Like, I'm sitting here, like, it exists. Regardless if I marry a man or a woman, I'm still going to be always attracted to the other gender. I mean, this is going to go ahead with another myth. It doesn't mean that I need to have, like, I don't know, a lover of the other gender that I didn't marry, or I have to physically be with the other one as well to kind of be fully bisexual. Like, I've heard this a few times before, which is one I think there was. I'm gonna just add one myth into this conversation because it fits so well. Myth 5: you can't be bisexual and be faithful to one person, which basically is, I've met people who come up to me like, when we've had like these conversations about sexuality, and I'm like, I'm bisexual. Oh, you like threesomes? And you're just there like, I don't want to talk about my sex life. First of all, it's really none of your business, and second of all, that's not really how it works. But thank you. Like, I get, to some people it makes sense, I guess, if you're like, well, I like both genders. I have to constantly have them hand in hand together in an equal amount, and honestly, it kind of makes me feel like that makes us sound like vampires sometimes, having that like mandatory dose of another gender. It just is like, come on. I don't know. You can see I'm getting a bit like frustrated with this idea, because I think this is one of the biggest debates I always have with this sexuality. There was a text here about this myth about there's no such thing as bisexual. And I like this. This is like straight out of a textbook, but I'm just going to read out loud for everyone. The world is not black and white, although it is sometimes hard for people to see the shades of gray that they do not understand. It is this attitude that all things fall into extremes that keeps many people from learning about and adopting the label bisexual. Despite this, there are many people who identify as bisexual in this world. This is a label that they feel best describes their attractions, but by their physical wait, that's a grammar error, so no wonder I can't read that. Okay, physical or emotional attraction towards different genders. Oftentimes, one may remain unaware of a friend or relative's bisexuality because of this tendency by either party to classify everything as either gay or straight. I kind of like that gray thing. I read these before, but now I'm re-remembering what I read. So, like, if I seem surprised at the text, I wonder. I don't always remember everything. But yeah, I guess we're the grays. It kind of works, though, to be fair. And also, like I said, I've mostly been raised with straight friends. I mean, sure, there might be someone who's LGBT, but mostly I haven't been raised in the LGBT community. My closest friends are all straight except one. And I always felt more natural to just, talk about boys with my girlfriends. Like, if they talk about boys, I'm going to talk about boys with them. I'm not going to suddenly just, like, throw out girl stuff you know, or girl attack themselves because they're not going to get it, which is perfectly fine. It's just then the assumption comes, it's like, oh, how can you be? You've been talking about boys your entire life. And it's like, well, you know, if I'm going to start talking about, you know, a girl's appearance and, like, I want to date her, they're not going to get it, you know? And so I kind of understand that, but it's this horrible misconception that a bisexual person could just live with another sexuality, you know, because you can suppress the other one. Okay, so this is what I already a bit talked about my, you know, coming of realization of my bisexuality, which is with number 2. Bisexuals are confused about their sexuality. They can't have it both ways. They have to make a choice. Again, you know, if you really want... Okay, I get... Oh. I got a suggestion, so I'm going to come to that in a second. Thank you for the suggestion. It's really good. Okay, so... Where was I? Okay, confused. Which I am right now. Not because of my sexuality, though. So when I was young, obviously, like I said, I felt like I was confused because there wasn't, like, any, you know, teachings about bisexuality. And if you really want to think that a bisexual makes a choice, then I think the only choice when it comes to, like, gender is the person they, you know, want to spend their rest of their lives with, if they're the kind of person who believes in marriage or want to commit to someone. Technically, yeah, that is a choice, but it has nothing to do with gender, and if that makes you feel happy, go ahead, but don't come to a bisexual person and be like, oh, you chose a man, okay, you went to the straight side, good for you. It's insulting. It's I mean, sure, it seems harmless enough, I guess, for someone to just be like, okay, you're more into, you know, your straight side, but I don't get it. And obviously, within especially the LGBT community, I feel sometimes it's really funny that someone wants to come to me and suggest that when they've been struggling with their rights. So, like, we've been struggling for all of our rights together. And you know how it feels when somebody comes up to you and say your sexuality is a choice, but then you feel okay that you can just come up to a bisexual and be like, well, that is a choice. You know, it's kind of backstabby sometimes, and it's an issue. And I know some people don't really mean harm by it, but you're preaching love and equality, and then you're not doing it within your community. It's kind of stupid. It's not even kind of, it's really stupid. I got a comment about I should explain the difference between pan and bi, and that's a really good one. This is gonna sound really bad because a bisexual technically believes in, like, the binary system of gender, and okay, let me just find, because I had this text about this somewhere, because pan and bi are often put together when it comes to explaining sexuality. So I don't want to explain this wrong, even the slightest, because I'm here to, like, debunk myths I don't want to add into it. Okay. Okay. No, you don't even have the term here. Okay. Let me see. I mean, obviously the internet is probably not always the best place to look for the truth, but I want to explain it in a way that is clear enough. Okay, so pansexuality implies that there are more than two genders when a bisexual believes that there's two genders, which is kind of, well, like, is attracted to two genders, which is kind of, I wouldn't say that in a sense personally, because I do not technically care of what your gender is as a person. Like, I care about the personality more, and then gender comes second, but I still identify myself as bi instead of pan. And it's such a fluid, like, difference between them, in my opinion. I guess pan is more open to the entire LGBTQI community, in contrast, like if you're commenting this, I want to see this because I do not want to miss anything right now. Yeah, regardless if you get married at all or fall for anyone really, right? Yeah, exactly. Somebody says you love me. Thank you. Yay. Um, I did think about this question before, like before the stream started, because I knew this would be a question, and I don't want to say I'm struggling with that myself. I am bi, but I don't also don't want to offend anyone by saying that I believe in two genders, because I completely respect the fact if you're more gender fluid than that. Um, I don't. I'm sorry, like I can't help this much more personally. If somebody wants to comment down on this, please do. This is one of those topics that I was really recent. Actually, I was last fall introduced to pansexuality, considering like I work with LGBT communities. I was surprised about this one. I knew it existed, but I didn't know it was that close to bisexuality and the difference. But yeah. Wait, I saw a text. Somebody wrote me. Somebody. Okay. Similarly, pansexual people may be sexually attracted to individuals who identify as male or female. However, they may also be attracted to those who identify as intersex, or gender, androgynous, transsexual, or the many other sexual and gender identities. I guess that's enough. I'm not going to go around this again, so I think I've said this 5 times a different way. So sorry for that. I've never done this before, by the way, so I'm going to use that excuse for being sometimes crap. So yeah, I'm getting messages. I'm really happy about the messages. Really appreciate them. I should check more often. Okay, so Emma posted, but if you talk about girls with a straight person, wouldn't it be the same as you were talking about being into a boy the person you're talking to wasn't attracted to? That's a good point. But let's say there's for 5 girly girls and you're talking with them, you're talking about girly girl's horrible term to use because it doesn't really matter, but if the conversation is constantly about boys and I don't know, boys are so difficult and it's so hard, how do I understand boys? I should, but as myself, I didn't find it natural going, oh yeah, well, this one girl. It kind of breaks the conversation. Maybe it might have been just my pure insecurity and I overthought about it, and that would be a shame if that were the case. But I do understand that then you can put those girls in that position where they want to help, I guess, but they also might not know how to because they've never been through it. Obviously, as girls, you can advise on girls because, same gender, but at the same time, if they're not used to it, I don't feel like I have to push that idea. Obviously, I could. They shouldn't be uncomfortable with it too much, and I doubt that they would be. Thinking about my personal friends, but at the same time, I don't need to push it. It's natural. I just continue the same conversation as they do and kind of go with it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I might be overthinking it way too much, but the times I have mentioned, about like being interested in girls, it's not. They've asked a few questions out of curiosity, but they kind of leave it at that, probably because they're kind of, intimidated by the idea. And I've, as a friend, obviously, and openly talking about these constantly and working for this, and hopefully I get to work for LGBT rights in the future as a profession. I introduce them to the ideas constantly, but they're your friends, and it's not that important for me to be able to talk about girls because I have guy friends. So I just kind of switch to that. But it doesn't mean that I'm hiding or suppressing either one. In a sense, it's just natural. Maybe if from since primary school would be taught about LGBT life more. I mean, think about it. they don't teach about LGBT sex at all at school, and that's horrible. Of course, like, there's different diseases and different dangers about that, but we're not taught about it, or we're not introduced to, you know, LGBT people in textbooks. Maybe when you hit higher to like a upper secondary school, there's like, you know, one guy named Ted in a book who happens to be gay, maybe, probably not even that, and probably it's horrible, horrible stereotyping. If it were a norm, then I guess it would be easier, but, you know, I come from Finland where sexuality, and my friend just, you can talk about girls with me, and I do. I love you. Yeah, we talk about girls, it's fine. Uh, it would be easier. And Finland is fairly conservative. We like to act that we're liberal and, you know, go forward, but we don't even have, we have really horrible civil union bill, which really doesn't work. I am jealous of Malta. Like, congratulations, Malta, for the new bill. You think even I would be great to talk about? There are situations where I just don't have the courage to just kind of go for it. And sometimes you think about it, it's worth it. It's kind of like a coming out thing. It's just like, you don't have to shove it always in every situation. It's just, you know, it feels natural. I think I just said that like 5 times. I'm so sorry. Okay, Emma posted. So if you're looking, there is a comment from Emma about the diversity lesson 101, pansexuality. Thank you, Emma. I love that you're doing like background research for me, but that's good. Yeah, just check that out. If I've talked completely bullcrap, tell me. I'm sorry. Also, a friend said that I should also mention my curiosity, which was a myth. I forgot I was at the myths. I am so scatterbrained. Where were we? I have so many memos. Okay. There's myth number 3. Luckily, it's the 3rd one, so we're still kind of in order here. Everybody's bisexual by curiosity. And their definition was, or like explanation or breaking the myth was, although most people experience an attraction for someone of the same gender at some point in their lives, this does not mean that everyone is bisexual. For most people, these feelings pass or change over time without the person ever questioning or redefining their sexual orientations. That's by curiosity, I think, yeah. I sound so unprofessional sometimes. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying. But yeah, it's good to be curious. And I personally, this is really my personal opinion, so do not take this to heart, like, that this is a fact. I do feel that every person, like it says, like, it has their, like, little bi-curious side to them. And that sexuality isn't as strict as we'd like to think it is. But, you know, obviously some people just never express it or feel it, and sure, fair enough. But yeah, everybody does, you know, have that attraction at some point to the same gender, like a girl crush or a boy crush. I would say mostly boys don't admit it as much as girls do, but that is there, and bi-curious people explore the idea of being with the other gender that they don't identify as being attracted to, and they kind of test that out, which is great. I find that's good. I think you should. Everybody should try it out. But don't mistake it as bisexuality, because bisexuals know they're attracted to both genders. And I think also that causes problems, because there's a lot of people who identify themselves sometimes as bisexual, but tend to be bi-curious, and it sometimes damages the kind of reputation that bisexuality has, because, you know, I remember when I was like 16, a lot of girls were like, I'm bisexual, and they may be a bit drunk, underage drinking, not good, but, you know, they were drunk, and they'd make out with a girl, and because they identified themselves as bisexual, but they really were bi-curious, they just kind of wanted to see what it's like, and then they never, you know, went back to it. And then people are like, when they come up to you and they're like, oh yeah, you're one of those bisexuals, yeah, okay, you know, like, are you really though? It damages it, because I have met this when I was like 16, 15, like I said, and they're like, you're you know, it's a phase. And it kind of, again, a vicious circle when people say they're bisexual but they are bi-curious. it makes people think that it's a phase, and, you know, it goes back and forth, and that's really damaging sometimes. Okay, trying to follow the comments here. I don't know what means two for you, Glen Coco, Emma. Please explain. Oh no, I'm opening some windows I don't want to be open. Okay. Technologically good. Okay. Um, I already talked about myth 5, which was you can't be bisexual and be faithful to one person. Um, Obviously, some bisexuals do enjoy open relationships or whatnot, but it rarely has to do with their sexuality, or it's not something that you should just box it up with, like, you know, bisexuals need an open relationship so they can be with both genders and be vampires because they need their daily dose of both genders. Um, exactly. They say here. They say here this is not determined by the person's sexual orientation, but rather by themselves and in some cases their partners. Like personally, I prefer being monogamous and, you know, faithful to one person, and I don't break up with people because I want to be with the other gender. And also, good point that I need to add, complimenting myself here, good point, is that bisexuals aren't, you know, they don't always equally are attracted to both genders, like 50-50, which is also a myth. Um, Again, doesn't mean that they're confused or it's a phase, but, you know, sometimes they're more attracted to both genders. I would say I'm more attracted to men, but I'm still bisexual. You know, I'd say it's, for me, it's like 55-45. It's a very small difference, but it happens, and I don't know, maybe it's again because of my raising, and, you know, but that's how it is. But I would still never go like, well, I'm kind of straight, you know, because I prefer boys. It doesn't work like that. Myth number 6: bisexuals are much more likely to carry sexually transmitted diseases / infections. And, you know, the comment to this is, it's not who or what a person is that makes them more likely to carry disease and infections. It is what the person does. The sexual practice of a person, in particular how well a person protects him / herself during sexual activities. The more educated one becomes about STDs, the better protected one can be from an infection. Emma posted bisexuality 101. Bisexuals are not vampires. Hey, maybe some might be. You know, we don't know. Apparently it's a practice kind of like witchcraft, so, you know, we might have a few vampires in our team, just like everywhere else. Besides the Twilight and other vampire movie fans, I can't remember if there's others. Anyways, back to more likely to carry sexually transmitted diseases. Like I said before, I think this is a massive problem in our educational system because we do not teach safe sex as well to LGBT people than to straight people, and of course, then statistically, there's more likelihood for LGBT people to transmit diseases because they don't know how to protect themselves. I do not know statistics, so again, do not take my word for, like, as fact. But there is a bigger danger, and that's really bad. And if we could just kind of at least have courses outside, I understand that it's probably an issue again if there's a whole coming out scene and you don't feel comfortable talking about your sexuality, which you don't always have to be, as long as you're not oppressing or hurting yourself. That kids don't feel that they want to demand the proper sex ed, because I remember in primary school, that shit made me giggle. I'm sorry for swearing. It just, you know, it was one of those things that, I see a penis on a book and it's funny. So I can just imagine that kids don't go, they're lacking LGBT issues. We should, like, correct this. It's up to the adults and the responsibles to make it happen, but that is a massive problem that we have in the education system because, you know, Mm. Hey. Yeah. Let me let me check comments again. Wait, my mouse isn't working. Oh, apparently, maybe isn't too for you, Glen Coco. A quote from Mean Girls. Yes, Emma said. Okay. I I I kind of like the movie. I, it was one of my favorites. I know, Emma, that you love the movie and you quote it probably hard, like from beginning to end. But I'm sorry, I don't know. Um, Myth number 7: bisexuals are more accepted by straight society. And the comment here is this myth has been. Oh, I'm sorry. This myth has all been expressed by some as bisexuals are more accepted by LGBT society. The truth is that although bisexual activists fight for many of the same rights as gay and lesbian people do, they are not always made feel welcome as a part of the community/movement. The heterosexual community often groups bisexual as being confused or undercover homosexuals. Wow, I actually never heard that one before. Has someone else heard of that before? Undercover homosexuals. I said Homer. I meant homo. And so rejects bisexuals and the concept of bisexuality. For the opposite reason, some lesbian and gay people reject bisexuality as a valid sexual orientation and see the stigma and not the people. The fact is that many bisexual people feel as if they are somewhere in between the two worlds and feel both positive and negative feelings from both. This is not to say that lesbian, gay, and bisexual people do not work together in all the equal rights movements and accomplish great things. Also, if I'm reading unclear, just tell me, and I can try to read better. I've always been really bad at public reading, so, you know. I can identify with this. I feel that sometimes we're really strongly in between both worlds because we get doubt from both. You know, I mean, sure, our letter is an LGBT, but at the same time, I sometimes feel that, you know, that's not the case, I guess. And yeah, we're the gray area. We're the black and white, I guess, but it's a shame. You know, I don't think it should be as wondered any more than other LGBT people. You know, it should be as discussed as a whole. I mean, I think the point in this myth is that straight people ask what LGBT people ask, I guess, from bisexuals, but but LGBT people, it hurts more when they don't get it because your letter isn't that, and you're in the same movement. But when there's doubt from that side, I guess it hurts more because in stereotypical kind of view, you expect the stigma from the straight community, but when you're in LGBT, you don't expect it as much. That's how I personally feel sometimes. It's like, hey, I'm with you guys in this, and you still don't think I am a part of you. And it hurts more. And I think that's kind of where this myth has come from. In a sense that we're more accepted by both, but I think we're having problems both ways in similar, you know. But because LGBT people in general are questioned constantly by straight people with rights and everything, you think and you feel that they would understand, they wouldn't doubt you, you know, for who you are, but then suddenly they're like, well, I doubt that you're, phase or something, and then you're like, how the hell can you say that? Because you know what it feels like being judged for your sexuality, and you're still sitting here and telling me the same shit that you hear from straight people sometimes, and it's really upsetting. Again, I swear, I'm sorry. I actually swear a lot. I'm really trying hard not to. So if I become foul, tell me. But yeah, let me see if I've gotten more messages. Not from here. Facebook, what are you telling me? Is there any more myths that you've heard that you'd like me to discuss? Because these are what I have so far. I would like to think that definitions aren't strict but can be flexible and can change over time as well, and if they do, it's fine. Exactly. And Emma said, the general sexual education syllabus needs to be revised from start to finish. Children need to be taught about safe sex in general, whether they end up sleeping with people of the same gender or not. She said Mean Girls is the best movie of our time. I'm sorry, this is not a movie review night, so I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to respect our difference. But it's true. I don't know. Is it different in Malta? Because in Finland it's pretty straightforward. I never had, when it comes to like hetero sex, I never had a doubt. It's pretty clear. It has all the contraceptions. It has all the possibilities. There's no wait till marriage kind of bullcrap, because I guess that our religion is not as strong as in Malta. But is it seriously so in Malta? Like, you know, there's the whole like not before you until you're married, and you know, just abstain. In the U.S., I know that's the case, and that's why there's a lot of teenage pregnancies, because they're like, oh, you could have been protected. But in Finland, for example, it's clear. It's so you think you know everything until you're LGBT, and then you're just fucked. I mean, there's the internet always, but you know, use common sense with that, because sometimes the internet can be pretty bad on advice. Especially Cosmopolitan. Don't ever read sex advice from there. Just don't ever do that. Oh no, why am I printing constantly? Okay, they have extra keys here. Is this? No, this is, here we are. I have to link more our event, which is good, because people are curious. Why curious? Sorry. Bad jokes. But yeah, okay. Let me see if somebody added to it. Louisa posted, I actually think it's a very common misconception that bisexual are actually gay. We're just the midfield, I guess. I never actually really thought about where we stand. I mean, obviously, I stand on the LGBT side because we're there, but like, in a sense, when it comes to the line of we're in the middle, but I never really thought about it as a concept. I just thought, you know, there's so many different kind of people. We're just one of them. It's, you know, it's not that different. But yeah, so those are myths. And I mean, I had questions for the panel. I'm not going to ask myself too many questions, because then I'm going to look really schizophrenic if I just kind of ask myself constantly. But let me check what else I have here. Oh god, I'm not just singing, but I can't sing. Okay, here we are. There was supposed to be a possibility for a Q&A kind of thing on the app itself, but it's not working, which is a real shame, but I still wanted a ton of questions that will help me out a lot. I'm surprised I have survived an hour of this, and it's not even surviving, it's been fun. I don't know if I should be worried about the fact that I'm enjoying talking to myself pretty much. But I think I'm doing okay. I can take a bit of water, so I'll be coughing. I already commented a lot of the problems bisexuality faces alongside with the rest of the LGBT community and within. I think I've been mentioning it a lot already. And as I said, like, people are coming. How are you typing? Someone is wondering how am I typing and talking at the same time. Obviously I go silent every now and again, so obviously I don't know how to do both, which I probably should. Not be a fish brain, that would be great sometimes. Okay, so I asked how like Maltese education system works, and I got 2 comments, so I'm going to read them. Louisa said, in Malta, my secondary school just shoved us in a classroom, put a cartoon about sex ed, and it was mainly that. Wow. I bet that was the most awkward thing. Though we had guests come and speak once about sexual health, again, it was very heteronormative. True. In Malta, teach you that there are methods of contraception. They teach you how women get pregnant. They teach you that it's better just to not have sex, which obviously is not enough. Yeah, that's so true. Cosmopolitan sex tips are literally the worst, and she posted a link. Oh yeah, I think you posted this to me before. Okay, yeah, but this is not Sex Tip Sunday. Oh, that's an awesome. That's an awesome title. I should use that sometimes. I don't know for what, but Sex Tip Sundays. Um, wait, I don't. So yeah, um, I can tell again my personal experiences as a bisexual, I guess. Um, this is me really improvising, by the way. Um, people are really supportive, and I'm really happy that there's a few of you watching this. And yeah, I really appreciate it. It makes me feel less nervous because I really thought I am screwed, um, but I'm not. Yeah. Next time, I will work harder that my panelists feel more comfortable and it works better, because I think that next time, if I'm talking about something else, I have probably explained everything for this evening, and you are going to be tired of hearing my voice. So yeah, I'm going to find panelists for next time. I'm not ending this, by the way. I'm just going to, talk about sexuality and LGBT stuff until people just decide to disappear. I'm going to do that because, honestly, I'm having fun. Okay. Let me see what someone else messaged me about this. Oh yeah, I had a YouTube link as well. I don't know if there's any viewers. Let's see. As if I'm getting a flu now. It's probably because us bisexuals carry so many diseases. That's how it happened. Someone liked our YouTube video. I don't think I even liked that anyway, so if some random person did, yay, thank you! Thank you for the like. Somebody posted somewhere. I can't find these comments constantly. God damn it. No, please don't. Okay, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Thank you, Emma. I could talk about straight people who end up with sometimes bi people, perhaps, or how like a relationship works with the other person being bi. Um, I mean, every relationship is, I guess, insane and different in a way. So I can't say anything else, but except maybe by my personal experience, because again, these are not really facts. These are all I can really say. The biggest problem I think I've ever faced with this was maybe jealousy, because they thought that there's more chances to cheat or more chances to, leave, or they were afraid I'd leave with the other gender that I wasn't dating because they might have failed as a gender. And this is, okay, an ex-boyfriend of mine was afraid that, I'd leave him for a girl if he's doing a horrible job as a man, which is really sad, and that's not really how it works. But I guess it's always exciting, maybe, because if you're not introduced to bisexuality too well, and they're not actually straight, you have a lot of questions how things work, but there's really not much to it. I mean, sure, if you're dating a guy, you can comment about good-looking girls together. If you're that kind of person, some people are jealous enough. You should never look at anyone else. I'm not one of those. But that's just like a relationship thing in general that has nothing to do with sexuality. But I personally just, I clicked, I guess, more. But then it might sound a bit weird, especially if you've always dated. I'm gonna use boys as an example. If you dated just straight girls and suddenly you're dating a bi girl, and then they're totally okay about talking about like other girls' physical appearance or something, it might I burped. I'm sorry. Oh, so classy. Um, sorry. Um, that they might find it exciting or scary. Either way, my boyfriend found it also a bit exciting that you can talk about it and maybe appreciate in a different way attraction because you have a similar one, but then there's the flip side of like there's more people to look at for you, and I don't know, it's a bit weird. Obviously, again, it doesn't really work like that. I'm just gonna use the same. We're not vampires. We don't need daily doses of nothing. We just are who we are, and then we meet someone, and it's either one of the genders or it's pan, or I don't know. I guess bisexual pan curious can be a thing. I would like to think that it is. And so, like, if you're still considering that you might even more gender fluid than what you already are, then it's just the person, and then you just fall for the person, and that's it. I mean, of course, if you're straight, or I guess in that case in LGBT, if you're a bi guy and a gay guy, then I guess then there's also some kind of excitement towards there's that different side or grossness, depends on how you feel. But in general, it was never really talked about. Although thinking of it, there has been a so now you're straight thing. But as mentioned before, that's not a thing that doesn't work, or which is like a step maybe a bit more annoying when it's like, okay, you're not now completely straight, but you're straight for now, which is I guess this kind of like system helps them to kind of understand bisexuality so much better, but it's like I didn't understand. It's like yeah, sure, I'm dating you, you're a guy. To most people's eyes, when we're walking down the street, you're gonna see a straight couple, but I'm not straight for the next 6 months or whatever that we're dating. I don't, flip sides. I don't, change my sexuality and like identity things. Now I'm straight. Now I'm gay. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. Is there any more questions? I think I missed a question somewhere because I saw a beep. Lisa, next time you should just tell me that you want to join chat. Like I would never have a problem with that. Yay for talking. Who said? Okay, what Emma said, the ABC of sex education: abstain, be faithful, use contraception, or something on those lines. Oh, that's so sad. Um, I wanted to say something else about bisexuality. I find it quite frustrating that when someone who was previously assumed straight starts going out with someone of the same sex, people jump to the conclusion that they're gay rather than possibly being bi. I got a beautiful flash for this. Or like, a light bulb. Um, this is something I really want to talk about. You watch a show. Let's use orange. Wait. Wait. Orange is the New Black. That show, I love that show so much. So much. But I think it's the most famous show to use the example. On like shows and things, they used to be lesbian, or now they're straight. Like Piper used to be lesbian, now she was straight getting engaged to a man, and then she turned back lesbian because she's with a woman. Not ever do they mention the possibility of bisexuality in between. And it's so, you just look at it like, how's it no? Like, if you're like going like this, back and forth, with both genders, and at the same time, technically, Piper, that's what she was doing. She was engaged to a man, and she was still, working around with a woman. And, and it's just like, wait. Yeah, so, also, if you want to join the actual conversation, you could do that. It's completely possible. Just saying, but I'm pretty sure you're studying or something, so, you know what I mean. Anyways, that bugs me a lot. Also, there's this show on Vice.com called Slut Ever that I kind of like because it's funny and explores like sexual things, not sexual orientation always, but sexual things. She actually had an episode called the sexual gray area because she was wondering that she likes men, but she's also interested in women. She's actually dating a woman right now. She was in the episode exploring, you know, being a lesbian and how to dress like one. And it's satire in a sense, so like all of that should be taken seriously, but she came to the conclusion that there's a sexuality gray area and you don't always need to know if you're lesbian or, you know, straight. And I was just sitting there like, oh, it's like, okay, fair enough. If you're bi-curious, I'm not gonna say you have to identify as bi, but it like they don't even introduce the idea of bisexuality. They just kind of, you know, go either one way or another, like you said, and it's frustrating to watch. It's painful to watch. It's like they're giving their viewers these like more doubts on their, like, let's say there's a kid who's watching this show. I hope they're not too young watching Orange is the New Black, but let's say you're 16 and you're like, you know, I like both genders, but I'm not really sure, you know, not really sure of terms. Maybe I'm from, like, I don't know, an oppressed family, doesn't talk about sexuality and whatnot. And they're watching the show where Piper is just going back and forth being lesbian and straight. It does not help in any way. And I'm sure they're from Hollywood. They should know what bisexual means. It's stupid. And it frustrates me. It's like these people would have an amazing chance to be bisexual role models, but then again, you don't get them. You're just looking at them going like back and forth in their sexuality. It's just so annoying. Wait, beep, beep. Yeah, it is starting soon. I can't wait. I'm gonna have a marathon with a friend, but I'm gonna be sitting there frustrated again for sure. It's like I'm pretty sure you're bi. Like, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but if you're completely capable of having romantic feelings with both genders at the same time, it's not even anymore by curiosity. We had a viewer saying you're doing such a great job and much love, which is great. Thank you. And Emma's watching us with a rainbow-colored mug with tea in it, so that's good. Going to like media and literature, I don't know any. I think I do. I think I've seen maybe once or twice a bisexual like role model, but they don't. Oh well, there's celebrities who are bi openly, and they're kind of role models, like Amber Heard or Michelle Rodriguez, I think is as well. But I don't know that many like characters itself who are bi. I mean, to be fair, like LGBT characters in general, like let's say about 20, 30 years ago, were lacking really badly. There wasn't really that many of them at all. So I guess in a really weird way, I can't expect a bisexual one yet. But then again, that's stupid to put us in the corner, kind of like wait for also like have those proper role models to look up to and be like, hey, it's okay, you know? Because of the pressure of you thinking you have to choose when you really don't is horrible. And, you know, you'd hope like the teenagers could have, or kids could have these like, you know, love is equal, you don't need to choose kind of characters that I'm kind of still waiting for, I guess. Hopefully we get those more soon. It's kind of like back in the day they would use a, a transgender character, but the person who was acting transgender was just some actor. You know, kind of with that, like, it's not really the same thing, but kind of like frustrating as well because, you know, there's people you can use for it and then you don't, and then, yeah. Okay, so yeah, Louis asked if there's many bisexual role models. I don't know of many. I mean, I know of some celebrities being bisexuals, but I wouldn't call them as role models by far. especially Amber Heard, because she seems like a complete bitch. um, yeah, it's not discussed. I mean, being gay now is discussed pretty openly. I guess it's like a step forward when you get to pies and pans and, questionings and, whatnot. But I do not actually. No, I'm sorry. How the hell could I have forgotten? There's one who is my complete idol, and I don't know why I really didn't think about this before, but Frida Kahlo is definitely one of my biggest idols on, as a person and as an artist. I love her artwork, and I love what she stands for. Okay, she was communist. Maybe not my thing, but she was out and open bisexual. Like, she's known, being both ways. And this is 20s, 23, 40, when she was alive. And she is, for me, a complete icon for me as bisexuality. How could I forgot her? I don't know. I was thinking maybe too modern. But other than that, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't really looked either. I never had that kind of, like, I had to find these people to use examples for me to survive sexuality. But it's also never been really, like, easy to access either as information. I guess I'd have to really look to find one, and I don't think that's how it should work. Just to, like, find by people to, like, oh yeah. So Emma posted a link on Huffington Post about Ellen Page came out as gay, but where are Hollywood's bisexual role models? This is good. Obviously, I'm not going to read this entire thing, or we're just going to be sitting here listening to me read really badly. Cara Delevingne, I don't know how to pronounce her surname, but she's she's born in 1992, model. I think she's British. She's dating Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah, I think she's bi too. But again, I wouldn't call that as a role model, because she's in the model industry. She's representing overly skinnified girls already. She's in that modeling industry. It's just like, I know. I would never want to really use models as role models, because they're giving, if there's not sexual pressure, then there's like the physical appearance pressure, and I personally would never have a model as a role model. Except there's this one plus size one called Robin Lawley, who's Australian, but she's plus size, so I guess it makes more sense. But in general, like in the general model industry, I wouldn't use anyone ever as a role model, because I think that's really unhealthy and endangering for the girls. Is there anything else? Love the movie Frida. There's also going to be an exhibition of her work in Rome till September. Are you serious? This is the moment I want to live in Malta again, so I could go to Rome and see it. It'll be cheaper to fly. I need to see her artwork one day. I'm not a massive fangirl in general, but if I saw her artwork, I might cry. My love for her is that serious. I might cry. Yeah, the movie is really good. It's visually beautiful. Like, the story, it's really kind of sad and harsh, but the colors are really vibrant, and it's really nice. It's kind of like Wes Anderson style, but not really. I don't know, actually. No, he didn't direct it, I think, because it wasn't symmetric. Like, he likes it in a kind of an OCD-ish way, but yeah. I thank you for the viewers who have actually stuck with me for quite some time now. This is great. I'm taking in a few more questions, and I might end it pretty much, because I've really gone through everything I had to say. Probably would have elongated it even more if people were throwing out, like, if I'd be physically talking to someone else here. But coming with myself, I'm still constantly nervous about this, by the way. Like, I'm still a bit, like, flustered. So, you know. Also, when you're watching there, I have 2 laptops to use. I'm so fancy. I can't use technology, but I have a lot of it on my table. Okay, there's more questions. I was looking at, wait, there's a question here that I liked. I'm going to show Because I'm just gonna now wait. What's going on here? I was thinking of just showing general like LGBT issues as well in the end if people were interested, and I thought that I'm just gonna go for it because it's a week, so like yay. Just need to refresh this page so I can give myself the link, and I'm gonna screen share it. It's not though, is it? Sorry, I'm trying to search things. Emma is leaving us, so thank you, Emma, for watching, and good luck with studying. Remember to study hard. Don't forget, you're gonna do well. I need to find the survey. Okay, so FRA, really does surveys a lot, and FRA is the European Agency for Fundamental Rights. I have to check out the real term for it. And they have data on their website about this. Why am I not finding the right one? Let me just post this on the wall of the hangout thing so you guys can check it out if you want to. But now I'm missing absolutely everything. Google, don't be like this to me. I'm sure this is great to watch out me hustling with the internet. No, I don't want to do that. Stop. Especially talking to my laptop. Okay, so just to tempt me further, I am not opening that, by the way. I do not want to be tempted further. We should have a poll. No, Patrick, you didn't show up too late. It's fine. I'm not leaving yet. I might be stuck at this for a while. Probably not as like fast-paced as it was in the beginning, but don't worry. Okay, let's do poll survey. Survey monkey. What the hell is going on? Why is this in Finnish? I shouldn't really wonder that because I'm Finnish, but still. No. What's going on? Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Just within. Do we have a poll system that we can use that I don't have to register right now? Because I don't feel like hassling too much. Yeah, you won't miss out. You're just gonna miss out me mumbling. I don't know. I was doing something else as well. Oh, I am so scatterbrained right now. So confused. Okay, survey results. Here we go. Then we are going to. I'm getting supportive comments again. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Making this less nerve-wracking for me. I'm so surprised we have 8 viewers because I'm really not talking about anything right now. Seriously, this is really to you guys as well. Just ask questions, ask anything you want to know about this topic. I'm not going to judge. You know, it could be what you consider the weirdest question. There's no stupid questions. There's only stupid answers, as I've been taught. So you should just go for it. And I have to answer questions that make me feel awkward. But yeah, here's a survey. Just thank you. There's the FRA survey results. Yay, Lou! Yeah, you're gonna join the next one. We're gonna plan it so you can join. Also, topic suggestions are welcome because we're not that many viewers. I don't think I'm gonna get overwhelmed by the suggestions and be confused as I am already now. So I am, you know, what the hell am I watching? Okay. I'm just saying thank you for people for being so nice to me. But yeah, questions. Um, I can still tell. Okay. Um, Back to my past. I can mostly talk about myself on these things. Let's just people watch me talk about myself. Woohoo. As I said, like I told my coming out story about my parents, and I just kind of half-assed mentioned like just kind of mentioning to my friends, and it, I made it sound kind of easy when it really wasn't. I did kind of go through the whole like coming out ritual, feeling the pressure, kind of like am I being suppressed kind of crap, even though very shortly, because then I realized like it's stupid, like yeah. But one risk was that when I was like younger, I really thought I could play out my straight side to hide it, so that was kind of suppressing my full-on sexuality, which was sad. But I don't think I ever told my Spanish friends when I lived in Spain about it. I didn't feel like they liked me anymore, or like, want to talk to me. And I think one of the biggest nervous ones is, because when you're with the people of the same gender, especially, they're going to think that you're going to see them as a piece of meat, which is stupid. This is, also like issues for the rest of the LGBT community, is basically when you come out or you tell them, hey, I'm this, and then they kind of start covering themselves up more. Not saying everyone is walking around naked in my world, because that's what it kind of sounds like now. No. It wasn't like, hey, I'm wearing the showers and locker room, and I'm just like, we're like, hey, no, I'm not that pervy. But yeah, I was afraid that they think I'm attracted to them, which is kind of, get over yourself, get off that high horse of yours, you're not my type. Though it happens sometimes when you say that, and then they're like, sure, and then you're just like, okay, well, have a nice day, I don't feel like talking to you. I don't. Anyways, I moved back to Finland. I honestly can't remember the first time I properly came out technically to a friend. Yeah, I can't. I think it was to my guy friends, because, guys tend to think it's cool sometimes to have a bisexual girlfriend. Not girlfriend as in dating, but like a friend who can talk about girls and advice about girls. And I think that's the reaction I got from the first guy friend. It was like, hey, you can help out, but you can still talk about them, So it was cool. It wasn't a big deal. It was never a big deal, obviously, because I can't remember it too much. But it was still, a big deal somehow, because I was really afraid to be rejected. I mean, retrospect, I've grown so much from, I'd say 17 plus LGBT knowledge-wise, that in my stupid head, when I was younger, I thought that I was the only gay kid in school. Well, not gay, but, only LGBT person in school, which is statistically impossible. But I thought I was. And that's also really sad, because we're not educated enough about LGBT people. And if, there isn't that one person who's totally, like, open about it, you're going to be like, I'm the only kid. I'm the only bi kid here. And I honestly thought I was in junior high school, which is, from age 13 to 16? So yeah, at the age of 15, 16, I was still thinking I'm pretty much the only gay kid in school. And not gay kid, LGBT. Sorry, I just use movie terms easily. Yeah, and I guess that's also one of the reasons I never really hurried with telling people at that age, or really bothered about it, because I felt like, either it's a risk or it's really not worth it, because, why the hell would I? But yeah, I think nowadays it's so much easier to know that you're not alone. It gets better, like The Amazing Project. But coming from a town, a city of 42,000, which, I mean, in Malta, 42,000 is kind of a lot. In Finland, not so much. Kind of everyone. And, like, in Malta, you have, 480,000 or something? it was such a small community. And you'd hear about like openly gay kids getting beaten because we have a few skinheads, and we have a few very, very racist and xenophobic people. You just kind of leave it at that out of fear. Also, one of the reasons you don't need to come out of the closet because you're oppressing, you can also be protecting yourself. And as horrible it is that you have to hide it, or if not have to hide it, you have to be careful. It's still better for you until it gets better in your community or the awareness. But as a 13, 14-year-old, don't risk your health and safety for it. If you don't feel too oppressed, like if you're comfortable in your own skin, uncomfortable in your own skin, just let it be. If there's a dangerous situation, honestly, I cannot emphasize it much because I've been talking about the coming out of the closet thing recently a lot, and I've been writing about it personally. It's I want to see it as a movie thing. I want to see it as it's a media concept, because if you're okay with yourself, how is it oppressing you, or how is it anyone else's business what your sexuality is, who you're holding hands with in the corridors at schools? It really shouldn't be, and I feel like sometimes that endangers a kid to depression and to feel oppressed when they might have not been if they hadn't been introduced the idea of you're hiding yourself, instead of having just the norm of not everyone is straight until said otherwise, which is a problem. If the norm were, I'm not going to know your sexuality until you tell me, it would be much easier. There shouldn't be, because it's also, when you're coming out of the closet, it's actually enhancing that stereotype, straight until stated otherwise kind of a thing, and it's not putting them on an equal platform. It is brave. In some communities or between friendship, it is brave as hell, and I'm not dissing you if it were a massive step for you, but at the same time, it can be more damaging in a bigger spectrum. Again, this is my personal opinion, so please don't take my words as fact. I feel like I have to say this quite often to make sure. Oh, I got a question. Is there a big difference between the reaction to bisexuality in Malta and Finland? That's a good one. My personal experience, I mean, I met you guys. Like, you guys are so cool that I don't think it ever was really an issue in any way. Um, I think religion-wise, it's much more condemning there, because our church is pretty, like, well, it's not chill about it, obviously, because our church is still part of our state, and our state still doesn't, approve of full-on gay marriage. But in general, I would feel that I would be more open about it to a stranger in Finland than in Malta, because I feel that in Malta sometimes you guys, and oh my god, I'm stereotyping nationalities now. Such a good breaking, stereotypes conversation. I would feel that you take it more passionately in a sense that it might affect business or interaction in Finland, even though you might not agree, it would react to it less. Be like, what's your thing? Because Finnish people are much more private in general, even when it comes to the conversation distance. Like, Finnish people have a longer distance than in Malta, and it took me some adjustment to, have a person talking to me here. I was like, you're really in my face. So yeah, I would say it's different in the sense where you will be easier condemned in Malta. But then again, I mostly met up with friends. Like, I didn't really do too much like stranger interaction, and if I did, it wouldn't be at that stage where they would know that I'm bi. Like, hey, new landlord, just so you know, I'm bisexual. Just live with it, Just, they didn't need to know. They might see my pride flag, but um, but yeah, that's how I feel. But yeah, because mostly I hung out with friends in Malta, and you guys have the same mentality as I do, pretty much. So I never really had an issue with that. Maybe a few questions with some people, like, what do you mean, what's that? Oh, you like threesomes, which is sadly, a very common question. Mm. But yeah, I think that's biggest reaction, I think. I haven't ever, to be fair, I've never gotten a full-on aggressive reaction about it, ever, because most of the times people, when it's, let's say the reaction is more negative, it's more confusion, or I don't know, what is it? Wait, you're gay or not? What is it? And therefore I never had a full-on aggressive reaction to it, which is really good. I've been really lucky, I think, in that sense, or they just haven't believed it, which I mean is emotionally more hurtful when they really feel they hear about bisexuality the first time and they already feel that they can debate about it, whether it exists or not. That's the worst reaction I've ever gotten, and I'm not sure what country that was in, but it's happened actually a few times. But yeah, that's the most frustrating one. It's like, okay, you know it all, you know. I don't know what else to add to it. I've been, repeating myself in different ways again for the past, I don't know, 10 minutes. So yeah. Is there any more questions? I'm still here, because I am not in a hurry. I'm getting feedback, so I'm going to check that out if there's anything I can say. Feedback, come on. Internets. Let me see. I'm going to feedback about this, which is really cool. So this is WeAre's, which is the University of Malta's youth organization, or youth LGBT organization. I like to use the word queer. It's our first ever hangout, and we were supposed to have 3 panelists, and we didn't because for personal reasons they were busy or unable to, which is perfectly understandable. This is my organization, this is what I'm organizing, so I'm taking the full-on blame on this, that you've had to listen to my voice for the past hour and a half. And I still have 4 people viewing this. I'm really happy. Thank you. I don't feel like a complete failure. Oh yeah, we can hashtag questions. Yeah, that's true. That's really good. Because I have the idea for a hashtag, but I don't understand the concept too well. I mean, okay, I understand what it means, but I'm not using it to Instagram, maybe a bit too much sometimes in some pictures I use it. But Twitter and that kind of an idea. Facebook as well, what's up with, and now it's used in practical terms. It's like when back in the day when LOL came out, people would say it instead of laughing out loud. It was really weird, and nowadays people just go hashtag something. Hashtag by hangout. Check us out. There's really nothing hashtag, but hey, that's what I was trying to use and I failed. Yay! So, if there's no more questions, I'm going to start ending this soon. We're going to have these hangouts more for sure. I am going to try to do them, I think, every 2 weeks? Bi-weekly? Bi-weekly? Get it? I'm really not funny. But yeah, we're going to try to make that happen more. And thank you so much for being here. Let me check if there's nothing else. I'm just going to awkwardly end this, I think. I was really scared to do this alone first, but I guess I am crazy enough to be able to talk by myself all the time. But yeah, thank you very much. I'll be, if you got this through WeAre, then, or by me, you're for sure going to know about this, and I'm going to spam again when this is going to happen again. And yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to stop now.